Okay, everyone, we're going to be going over class number 33 from our fundamentals class. So this is beginner Jiu Jitsu, the basics we want everybody to know, and just really great for self-defense and the fundamental techniques, right? They're the techniques that they work for everyone. They work against trained people. They're, the things that we work on with all of our students here at the gym, even in kids classes, right? So let's go over this next couple of classes. We'll be putting together some things with our 4-point base. Okay, so everybody knows this 4-point base here, right? So I step back into the side and I'm bending my knees and I can move. Okay, we're gonna challenge our minds to think about that in some other perspectives, and over the next couple classes we'll weave those together. Okay, so what I want you to think about is like, let's get down in this position here, right? It's almost like we're in a mountain climber position. Look how I can turn, right? On the balls of my feet, right? I can pump my legs. I can kind of bear crawl in all directions, like a little square, right? Then too, think about this. We can pick up one foot and we can practice moving around. Okay, and we'll pick up the other foot. Kind of just in all directions, right? Then we can practice one hand. Other hand. Right? So this is a 4-point base as well. And let's talk about getting that position. Put my hands on the mat. We've seen this in some of our back control classes, right? So if I'm pulling, you're maintaining that base, right? Now as I pull, kind of walk sideways. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Okay, now, sitting through, it's one of our fundamental movements. When we do this here, look how why do we do this thing with our arm? Turtle, please. So get down on the knees on this. Think about this as a frame on some of our techniques, right? Turn this way. So if I push into you, bring your knees together, right? And then kick that one back. And then go to your hips. Yes. See, that's a reason why we would. And look how my body's getting straight, okay? So just some slow sit-throughs from all fours in that manner, right? So again, like we call it 4-point base. We want to have balance in 4 directions, right? So here, we can achieve that by leaning, tilting, and then from here we can also sit through. Boom. Right? From here, I can step over. Again, reposition, balance. We might need to move around. Let's sit this way. Boom. So let's just see some sit-throughs, and you can step over or you can retract. Move around a little bit between the sit-throughs. Don't be in a hurry. So bring that hip up a little bit more. There you go. Good. Uh-huh. Yeah, good. Hip, yes. Very good. Okay, time. So that's nice. Now, think about, when we do this sit through here, right? We can be in a 4-point base in this regard. Okay, so scoot forward a little bit, but stay seated. Hands behind you, feet on the floor, like in a crab crawl position. If I pull your collar, swing your hips back. Yes. Okay, now, you want enough, your hands are in a good spot. You might slide them forward an inch. There you go. That way you can swing. Swing your hips forward and backward. See, like you want to go as far as you could forward, as far as you could backwards without losing efficiency, right? So here, and then if I push your shoulders, yes, good. Now, let me see this. Okay, so if I'm pushing you, add that weight into the foot so I can't come forward. More rigidity with the leg, yes. Okay, so go back to seated position, right? So from here, you could be able to transition from, a one hand on the mat, where you can teeter-totter from some of our other technical stand-up stuff we've covered in previous classes. But if I go to come in, you can put your hands on the mat, you can lift your hips, and you can use a front kick. Boom, right there, good. Let's do that on this side. Good. Just kind of keep your hands on the mat, but you're adding weight as I come in. And swinging those hips, yes. Up, and then they'll hinge forward. Good. Nice, very nice, okay. So that's just a little kick. If somebody's coming in, we'll play this a little bit more, but that is a technique from this base, right? That technique came into Jiu Jitsu, not from Judo, but actually once Jiu Jitsu went to Brazil from Capoeira, right? Like you won't see that kick in Kodokan Judo, right? The technical stand-up, we don't see that stuff in Kodokan Judo. A lot of that stuff comes from Brazil, right? So before Jiu Jitsu went over there, right, from Japan, those weren't techniques that went with it, basically. So, but that's, call that cross-pollination. So being able to move around or maintain against a push and a pull and transition between those bases. Again, we'll add on a little bit more, but that is a good warm-up, okay? So last class, we were looking at pick-up defense, slam prevention, breaking the body lock, okay? So, yeah, basically, I want to keep, it's so easy to arch my back when I go here. Like basically, like my hips are extended back, so my back is, my low back is too engaged. There, I'm more relaxed, okay? So I want you to think about almost the concept of dead weight, right? If he wants to pick me up, right, go ahead and pick me up. Very hard, right? Because I'm just a relaxed torso, okay? This is something from standing, and if we're in someone's guard. We need to be able to adapt if they're pulling us, if they're pushing us, just like you were doing there. So here, if I focus on keeping my torso in a relaxed state, I can adapt, okay? So that's just kind of a newer way of thinking about it. So I want to kind of go forward a little bit, but when we do that, it's so easy to arch your back out, right? You see that? Right, so like when I go forward, like that, I feel that in my low back. Not like it's super painful or anything, right? But there's a more neutral spine, all right? And that's what we want. We want it to be able to move forward or backward, to round or to curve. Not to already be in one of those positions, because if I go here, if I'm not careful, I'll get that curve in my spine with that arch. And I'm looking for more, like you see the difference, like there's the arch, and there's without the arch. And then I can still swing forward a lot. I can still engage my hips a lot, right? So that's the pickup and slam prevention. Now, if we're able to achieve that, we've got a whole laundry list of techniques, and we're kind of working through those. And the basic idea is you're going to pick me up, and our partner with this is not too wide in their base, okay? If they are, we do other things, and you weren't. But here's the thing: if I'm wide and back, or if I'm back and I have one leg in the center, there are different things that different protocols that we would want to run, right? So these are things to assess. The techniques we're going to do today work extremely well when someone's not exaggeratingly wide, right? Like and it may be just because you're the smaller, like we have the size difference. It may be that, like I just have a broader base than you, wider shoulders, whatever. So it's in comparison to your leg length. But both these techniques, if the person's hips back, I'm going to do another one, right? These are for just somebody that has kind of a normal stance and is trying to pick me up, right? And if they have a leg in the middle, which will be common, right? Right there, that's fine. That's halfway to where I want to be, okay? If I'm here, I can ride to there, or I can step to there, okay? What I mean by ride is go ahead and pick me up. Right there, right? So now once I'm here, I can step, okay? Now, if you can, hold on to this, yes. That's the different techniques here, right? I can scoop his legs out, right? The first thing we're gonna learn, I'm gonna pick you up and move you over here a little bit. The first thing we're gonna learn is Tani. Tani Atoshi. We've seen this from Micah's perspective, like when he has me in the rear clinch, right? So what I wanna do is I wanna add some down pressure, right? So I wanna think about picking my legs up. This is gonna go back, and this foot's gonna go straight. As I was saying, step your legs super wide, Micah. I probably wouldn't do this one now. I would go for another different variation that we'll talk about. It'll be the second technique we do. Okay, so kind of come back in here. So what I'm gonna do is if he's holding my waist, if he still has this body lock, kind of pull up on that body lock if you can. Keep going. Like that, okay? So I want, if I lift my legs up in that regard, I'm adding weights, it's harder for you to hold on, you kind of just carry me, and that sinks you to the floor. Just think, if you're holding me, I think with some kettlebells over here behind the camera, if we went and, hey, let's go walk around with those kettlebells, and let's say we each had a 50-pounder in each hand. You think I was adding 100 pounds to you? I was, right? So the thing is, I want you to have that weight bearing you down into the mat, collapsing you as we fall back. Okay? So, relaxed posture. He's trying to pull me up a little bit. I'm dropping weight in this defensive stance, right? And I'm looking for my time to step behind. Okay? Frame here. Whoa. Now, he may let go of the body lock. That's fine. I'm still gonna add weight, and I don't just hang out here. I'm just highlighting this position, right? Like he's losing balance when I was going in, I will go for it then, right? But here, boom. Now, this is the throw to a submission combination, right? Slide here. The submission is a side control arm lock. So Uri Gatami is when we do an arm lock with our hands, okay? And yeah, an arm bar, I'm using my hands, I'm controlling your arm, but my legs are creating the leverage. I'm not using my legs with this arm lock. So we call it straight arm lock, okay? Then another thing, turn it this way, is I am in reverse Kessa. This is the point that we commonly step over to mount, right? It's a variation of side control. My hips are facing here. I've got a wedge in the floor, and I'm putting some weight on it. So you land in this spot. What I want to do is here, instead of pushing this down, I want to stretch it away. And now I'm going to put some weight over it, and It's almost like I'm swinging a ball bat with this. Again, I'm not necessarily worried about pushing it down like this as much as I am rotating it. Okay? So, Mike, stand here. This is Tanya Toshi. You could also construe this as another judo throw. When I was first learning this, it's like a purple and brown belt from Jack Toffer. I wrote it in my notes as this other throw called Nidon Kosoto. You know the throw, it's a leg hook. Like we do that in class 1. Well, a two-leg version of that is like that, right? Nidon means 2, essentially, right? So, yeah, interesting perspective, okay? So, but we sacrifice, we go to the mat with it, right? So it's you know, essentially just that rear sacrifice that we've seen a couple other times, right? So let me get behind you. Just find your base a little bit. I'm gonna pick you up and pull a little bit. Good. Good. Now when you get ready, step behind. Close. Different throw though. Step behind with this one. So slide that way. Unhook that. Step it behind. That's it. Okay? Now, see, this is perfect. All right, so we're here. Now, what I want you to do is think about that. Do that thing where you put all the weight in my hands. Up. Okay? Now just slide and sacrifice. Yes, rotate. Good. Nice. Let's turn so they can see. Here's fine. Okay, give me a good Kessa where you got the wedge, reverse Kessa. So I can't move this way. So when I am trying to move this way, you're sliding out over that and finish that block. Ah, yeah. Rounded spine. Head goes over one more time. There you go, good. Very nice. Okay. Let's see that again. I'll do one more to you. And again, y'all just try not to get slammed. Trying to work to that rear, get behind him position. Right now he has rear clinch. But that's all what you got. I am one step away from getting my own rear clinch type position. Okay, now again, I've got lots of throws, lots of techniques I can do from here. We saw that we can break the body lock. But we can't like break the body lock, that's when we go into this stuff. Here, I'll do one more. So here. He's grabbing, he's pulling, right? I wanna be finding my base. I'm just working to the side, right? Boom. Okay, you go on me. Good. Yeah, you just go for it. Yeah, so you had it immediately, like I was talking about earlier, right? Now, this is okay. People are worried to do this next part. And you kind of have it, but let the head hang and lean forward a little bit. Now, if I think about this, like let your hips go back if I push here. Does that make sense? Almost, yeah, yes. See, now you're controlling me on my side. Now finish your leverage. Nice, so maybe tap 3 times, maybe 4. That's good. So, that's nice. Now, let's look at this other variation. Sometimes, depending on the context, you know, this rear grab like this, we see it with both our arms trapped. We see it one arm trapped, we see it with both under the arms. So this is sort of a rear body lock, double under. Well, there's some context to when you have those different hand placements if I'm doing the technique. And with this next one, we could use our arm like the frame, like we just did. We could reach over and grab your lat muscle. And we can also hook your elbow. And I'm gonna do some combination of that, right? I've seen this taught many times with and without the elbow hook, right? By people I have the utmost respect for. See, one of them show with that detail, one without. So it's, there is one of the techniques that I'm very focused, it's not in this class, about the elbow hook detail. This one, again, I've seen it both ways. I'm gonna show the elbow hook detail. This is when they might have a wider base, or you are just not quite able to get all the way behind, right? Like there, like we were like this, like, you know, sort of eclipsing each other, right? So you might not get that sort of depth where you're closing in on that much. It may just be like that, okay? So just get that rear clinch on me, please. Okay, so if this is the case, right, it may just be something like here. Like, look, I can't just hold what you got. I can't straighten my leg to take that leg out. So this is where I'm gonna keep this here, but it could go here. Okay, and again, there's just added context to that. We're not too focused on it today. I'm gonna be able to use this rotation with the elbow. I'm gonna be able to use this frame idea that we were talking about. Okay, so that's what I wanna do, is rotate and collapse in right here. Now when I do that, this frame's gonna push him over. We're gonna land in the same spot and we do the same technique, all right? So again, this is when I can't stretch my foot, I rotate in here. Now I wanna add that weight like we were talking about before as well. Here, okay, look, I have weight on my elbows on the mat. I wanna take that weight up to finish. Start trying to push my arm, Micah. Like that's what I was saying there about the, and you did that. We did that in mount too, where we like, that round spine can help you retract your hips, right? So this is, you can do it in the mounted Americana. There's just a lot of little spots for that. This is a throw, the Japanese is Yoko Garumo. That means side wheel, right? So you're rotating like that wheel motion, right? You felt the whip when you went down, right? And there's a little bit of that on the other one, but that's just a rear sacrifice throw. I just kind of follow you. A little rotation. We might turn at a little angle as we go down. But this one, you're spinning on that planted leg, right? So let's see that. If I need to, I'll walk you through it. If I need to show it one more time, we can. So hook my elbow. Yes. And see how it's, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be this way for you because I have one leg forward and one leg back, you know? So go ahead and step. Boom. See that? How you're not gonna reach that. And it's because, and you did make me square my feet, but I was in like a 4-point base. So when you step behind, I'm here, but still, we don't wanna rely on that, okay? So I want you to think about rotating in. Turn the knee and the foot and go under, go like between my legs, essentially. Collapse to your hip. Oh, nice. Let's get back in frame. Okay. Go again. Step behind. Good. And step and rotate in. Yes. Very good. And then look, it's not this one. This one's free for you. You grab it, yes. Good. Around that spine, hips back, yes. Nice. So this is this is what confuses people about techniques. It's like, to me, after doing this for 18 years, those two techniques are the same. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I was going for that one. I had to do a version of it in a different direction because they were standing too wide. I don't really delineate there being a difference. And I think that that's once you learn the fundamentals, you start to look at things that way, right? Like once you master them, and you're always mastering them. That's the thing. That's what black belts do. They just geek out over this stuff continually forever. So,
And it's so funny because you'll get around people that are like that. People I hang out with, they'll be like, bro, the armbar for guard. And it's like, you know, a lot of times you get people that are coming through the color belts. They don't want to hear that. They want to see something cool. They see a buggy choke or something like that. And it's like, yeah, that's a thing, you know, but this, you know the way broadly and see it in all things idea, Musashi, I don't think you arrive at there by seeing just cool things that are sport, or that's a part for sure. But you know, you gotta kind of study all the submissions, look at leg locks, contextualize everything. That's the goal, and that's what you do. That's why they're colored belts. As you move through the ranks, you are being exposed to everything, and that's why it takes so long, because there's still things you haven't seen, right? So, sometimes still something will come up, and I'll be like, I've never had a class on that. I know what you're talking about, but I've never been on the mat when someone was teaching that, and I don't teach it, right? There's still a few techniques out there like that. I just like, and they may be self-defense technique or whatever, but I'll still be chasing that information, right? So, but the same throw, we see that hip escape, but we do it from a lot of different positions, right? Try and simplify. All right, that is Yoko Garuma and Tanya Toshi, just a side and a rear sacrifice. Yoko means side, right? And that Tanya Toshi, you kind of make a V. This leg's kind of bent when we do this one, but a lot of times both legs are like this, makes a V. We'll call it, the name of the throw is valley drop, right? So, boom, you just, I guess, rolling down the hill into the valley is kind of how I always construed it, just right, pushing them off of the ledge. So, a couple cool throws. We'll be working on those in class, and you'll see those also throughout the curriculum. There's another one in a few classes we see called Soto Makikomi in Japanese. It's when somebody's pushing us, right? And you do it real similar. Hook, but you don't have to step behind. Why? Because they're pushing you, right? They're gonna be like that. And I see people do it, right? We work on this back position all the time. So that's that. Okay, so the next part of the class is trying to understand how to deal with when someone has us in a position everybody just pretty much calls reverse headlock, or a front headlock, not reverse headlock, front headlock. So when we're in front headlock, we've seen things in earlier classes, like the very first batch of classes on back control, how to deal with someone beside us, right? So we kind of saw that with the belt pull thing at the beginning of this class. same lesson. Well, what if somebody's in front of us, right? Like when we were just doing the takedowns a second ago, that's defenses from the rear, right? Somebody's behind us. So it doesn't matter if we're on the ground, it doesn't matter if we're standing. We'll see next class we do 4-point base from standing, on the ground, belly up and belly down. We'll weave them all together, right? We'll transition and see the links, okay? So, but the hard part of this is there are a lot of different ways people can grab you, okay? And I'm just gonna illustrate here from standing, and then we'll go down to the mat and we'll look at this from a perspective of being in all fours on the mat, or turtle, right? Is the other position it's commonly called. So look, guillotine. That's one, right? Now, sort of an arm in guillotine would also be an arm triangle that we call an anaconda choke, right? This is kind of what everybody calls it. You also see it called a gator roll, because I could swing my leg through here and it topples him over, okay? But look how I'm grabbing his arm. I come out through and I grab his arm, okay? Then I may go from his arm and I may grab his neck, right? And then I may have both arms around his belly. The chest grab is what a lot of people call this, because my chest is on your back and we're grabbing them, okay? So, that being said, let's look at just sort of the basic number one way to deal with those situations, right? And let me ask you this. If you had me in a guillotine, we'll start with that one. And I was underneath you, and maybe I tried a double leg and you sprawled, but then you got my neck. What are you gonna do with that?
I'm gonna try to finish it.
How?
I guess like try and put my elbows forward and back
So
up.
here, just tell me real quick.
From here, oh, you have all
Yeah,
that?
this is kind of the context. Like I'm on the ground.
I guess I'm just gonna try to squat here. Okay, I don't know.
What do you feel?
Feel that I'm coming off of your neck here.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Just go down in in wrestling they call this a referee position. You can have your spine look at my okay. This is what we're seeing here. That way you're kind of so here. So one, I was wondering if you're gonna pull guard. I'm kind of glad you didn't. But I can just raise. Okay, what I was doing to offset that is turn your chin into my ribs. Okay? Now I want you to think about this. As I try and raise here, your head turning is driving my elbow to the mat. I want to raise my elbow up. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, and if I can't do that, I'll almost always pull guard. Right? I think that it's very risky to pull guard in this spot for a guillotine. I would let go of the guillotine, run around and take your back. That's what I would do. Right? But so look, turn in and counterbalance as I raise. Yeah, right? Swing, let's do this, swing this way. Okay? So again, he is just kind of turning in like this. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but when he's doing it, he's driving my weight down to the mat. Okay, so I've got under your chin to start in the middle, and I'm raising up, and I'm not. Do you feel how it's like I go to raise up and I can't go so far, and then I can't be down on my knees, I have to start adding things. Well, guess what? He's not going to stay there, right? So that's just like we want to be able to address these things so we can complete movements like double A takedowns. People run into something like this on a double A takedown, their whole day falls apart, right? Like, oh, I don't do double A's anymore, right? And, we'll see next class that that's not necessarily the case, okay? So that being said, counterbalancing, something simple. Now, just real quick, put me in that guillotine. Okay. And, yeah, this one. And then go ahead and put me in guard. Good. Okay. So, go again. I'm basically gonna just put my hands behind his knees and chop down like this. Okay? Now, go ahead and put me in guard, Micah. If he holds on, I've got this choke like we saw in one of the much earlier classes, that shoulder choke Von flew. Get down. Here. Okay, I've got the guillotine. So just start turning your chin to my ribs. So yeah, I can't really off balance. And you can, if you want, you can drive with this hand to help your body tilt that way. You know what I'm saying? You can anchor to me too, but you can put your hand on the, yeah, see that? You're off balancing me because this is not gonna work. Okay, now go hands behind my, yes, right? So you're just gonna scoop them to the side, past yourself, to the corner. As I'm gonna try and, yeah, boom, right? So one more time. Okay. Boom. Fell apart. Didn't have it. Didn't have it from the beginning. We'll get a little more concise next class about our head placement after we finish a double leg. Because here's the thing, this is a wrong side to go to on the guillotine, but the context we're doing this in, I was going to the other side, I was guiding your legs, but
there's not the threat of me still being in the guillotine once I do this. Because of the situation we're in, it's not just like purely passing your guard. My head pops out, right? So it's interesting. And, when we see the takedowns from standing finish, like a double or a single, and someone has you in a headlock, when you complete the takedown, they're forced to let go. If they don't, you got that shoulder choke, which is kind of why I default go that way. That's what I first learned. Okay, so that's that. Let's move on to the next variation. Okay, so that's guillotine defense. Let's take a look next at the arm triangles. Okay, now I don't really have a super particular order on this. I'm kind of back and forth on how to teach it. I think the most basic thing we're going to do today is actually what I'm going to show last is the chest grab, right? But it's not like, it could also be by itself, because it's not, you're not trying to submit me. These others are like submission threat. Like you're trying to choke me maybe, right? So, and then too, the grouping I'm kind of doing today is I want to see side control is going to be our follow-up, like what we saw with the takedowns, right? So we saw there, like, excuse me, I mean side control, right? So this next one we'll go to side control. And then we'll see two little choke defenses that can go to the back. And, again, not super particular on what order we do these in. While I think that the one where they grab around your chest is the easiest, it's hard for some people. And I don't like grabbing people like that. Like I wouldn't grab you like that if I could avoid it. But people do grab that way. So there's like all of these little sort of nuances about it. So it's like, we're just looking at it. First couple go to side control, second couple go to the back. Don't get choked. And we're looking at this in the lens will make more sense after next class. We want to complete our techniques. You're going to run into barriers and you're going to have to change maybe the direction of your technique. Maybe one little nuance, maybe the direction will change and you will add something else, right? Like I'm going this way, but I'm pulling that way. Whereas before, the angles were all different. So you might also be sprawling, things like that, man. Just, things, why didn't you double work is sort of the real question. So let's look at these next couple. So in this one, what we're gonna do is it's gonna be technically what we would call the Darce choke. So it's gonna be here, okay? Now this one and the chest grab both can break you over to side control, but we're gonna take the back on the chest grab, okay? So go from my arm through and just grab my neck here. You might arm triangle, you might put your hands together, whatever, okay? Now, that option that we saw on breaking, like when we were hooking the arm and throwing, it's very similar here, okay? And then, two, poking our head out. If I was gonna take the back, I'll poke my head out this way. We're reserving that for when he's both arms around the chest, around, chest grab. Okay, so, but here, he's got, good arm triangle. What I wanna do is I wanna suck him underneath me as I set through like we did in the warm-up, okay? All right, so now, look, if he still holds on to me, I'm gonna expand. Yeah, go ahead and get your grip back if you can. Anything you want, just here. Right now, I'm kind of rounded. I'm kind of caving in, right? So I want to open everything up as I drive on top of him. And I can turn over, and now we're in this side control. We can attack with some of the other things that we've seen from that spot throughout the program. Okay, get me in that Darce defense again, or Darce arm triangle. Okay, so he's here. Now, I'm gonna sit through and I wanna get that alignment with my body like we were talking about in the warm-up.
look, his grip broke when he fell down. That's gonna happen. If it does, you can finish that arm lock, or you can turn over. Okay? All right, Micah, you get. Scoot back a little bit. Okay, so again, this is like here. Boom. Okay? So kind of, yes. Put one knee up. Now do that sit through from the beginning. Get your hip into it. Yeah, see, you made my grip break. Let's say you didn't though. Bring your feet up and push your, yes. I'm just gonna let go. I know it's gonna hurt. Right now, you could maybe finish this. Yes, good. Or let's say that wasn't there or whatever. Turn over and be looking for this. Pull, turn that way. Yes. See, you might get an Americana, or it might be out here for that other lock. Right? Yes. Good. Let's go one more. Nice, good. There you go. Or pull that one out and boom. Nice. Good. Okay. Just sticking with the choke theme. And then too, I think a lot of times somebody gets real deep on a double on you, you're forced to grab the choke grab. That's another way to think about this, right? Again, we've seen a little bit of double. You're gonna get trapped underneath people in these spots if you grapple, if you do jiu-jitsu, if you do any sort of grappling sport. As I said earlier, I was like, hey, the rest is called referee position. They live parts of their life here. It's part of the sport, right? Like, and that being said, you're gonna learn techniques from there, and so is your opponent and your partner in class, and they're gonna put you here. And it's gonna be, sometimes it'll be beside, sometimes they'll be in the front, okay? So let's look at now, just get in that referee position again. This is the arm triangle, okay? This is probably the easiest of all the ones. Put me in that, go here, boom. See, look, when he grabs here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab, and I'm gonna go like this. And I just, it's sort of a slide by his arm idea. All right, once I come in, sit up please. We're going this double lapel choke we've seen. Okay, so go back down. Once we get here, we're gonna lean over right there. Puts a lot of weight, like we always wanna think guys about being heavy on their scapulas. We'll see this again next class. We want to put weight here, pressure. Because if weight's on his scapulas and he's on his arms, it's gonna make his arms heavy, right? So this is a big theme in many of the techniques, okay? Then too, Micah, when you do this, don't be like, look how my hips are here. When we wanna choke, we gotta turn our chest down so we can achieve that idea all the way across your scapulas. Okay? So, it's essentially too, like I said, slide by, it's an arm drag. Think about that, right? So, get down. So, look, I'm here. Grab my tricep. Right, see that? So, what you would do is swing your hips around. Swing and pivot on that knee. Swing around beside me, get beside me. Yes, boom, yeah, stay up, yeah. Right there, good. Now, go for the lapel. Get the double. Okay, now get that weight on my scapula. Turn a little bit so we can get back in this. Now see, you're in that side hip sort of idea. So turn belly down, all that weight on my scapulas. Lean forward. Almost like you're just pouring over my back. I get your head just. We talked about this in this class before, but like, this technique's a great example. If your head was up and you were doing it, your head weighs 20 plus pounds, yeah, whatever, 22, whatever it is, right? You kind of smaller head, it might be 22, right? But let's just say head's way over 20 pounds. I'm a grown adult man. And think about, yeah, okay, I just want to like dumbbell. We were grappling, I was like, hold this, right? And then you had to deal with that too. That's how I think about this a lot anymore. I'm like, north-south, there's many a position where I do that now, and it makes me heavier. This is that instance in this choke, but man, it adds that weight to the leverage. Not only can I not get here, like as soon as I could see it out of my peripheral, as soon as your head went here, I was done, right? Back in that front headlock, please. Okay, so here, boom. Yeah, see how you collapse? Now, you go. Here. Spin around behind me. Yes, good, go there. Grip, grip. Good. That was one of those multi-taps. They tap once or twice, it's not, we're just drilling and it wasn't that respectful, you know? It was good, you got a couple good ones in. Okay, the chest grab. Like that one went to the back beside you. This one will too, and let's also finish with the same choke, okay? Be careful, when I do this and you have here, try not to fall over. That will happen, and if you get good at it and you time it, it will happen to them. They will fall over. I want to take the back though. That's another way that, like, again, like how should we divide these techniques up when we show them? I would rather take your back than put you in side control, right? So kind of saw those two side control options, guillotine, and try and pull guard to get in side control, right? Well, Darce choke, try and do that to me. I'm just gonna sit through and break you over, side control. Oh, you wanna grip me, you wanna arm in, guillotine me, or anaconda choke me? I'm just gonna spin around beside and put you in back ride. Get that back control, choke. This, we're grabbing around. I'm sitting through this way and then turning that way. Okay, so grab around my body. Yes, okay. So, here. Remember how we've been talking about that? You feel that, right? A lot of times people will like to grab this leg as an anchor point. That depends on your situation. Sometimes that's available, sometimes it's not. Like we've seen some of these ideas with the reposture. Having my hand here is fine. What we need to do is poke our head out the side we want to go on. Here, right? Now, here I'm gonna really add the hip and get that alignment, Micah, and it's gonna put some weight on you, so try not to fall over here. Just for the drill, if you fall over, cool. We're just trying to, here, look here, this is my hip. Boom. Boom. Also boom. And then a bang. Alright? So, that is, you kind of felt like, oh, I'm about to fall over if I don't adjust, right? That happens. And it's great when it does. But, I kind of look at this technique the way I said, like, I'm going to take your back and choke you. I want to be behind you. It's harder to fight when I'm behind you. So if I could choose, I'm going to take your back every time. And that is, I think that's a mentality we can all have, but I think I have that mentality because I'm a black belt and I understand that the back is best, right? It doesn't mean it doesn't have ways to get out of it. We've seen ways, but it's statistically much harder to deal with, right? So I'm gonna grab you on the chest. It'll be that sit through. We're really focused on the warm up, okay? And with that being said, you're gonna finish with that same choke. So you'll sit through, turn the corner, and then here, and then here. Don't feel rushed to get that. Just normal operations. Boom, boom, double lapel, right? A lot of times we're like, oh, I gotta boom. We're rushed. There's no rush here. As a matter of fact, if you will slow it down, you will have a finesse to it that you're after. And a lot of times we don't have the finesse because we're going too fast. You've heard me say this in other classes. If you can do it slow, you can do it fast. So that finesse that we're chasing, it's not doing it fast, right? You see that person, it looks fast because it's fluid. I heard John Donaher say it's a great coach. When I try and grab the grip, I fiddle. Right? Like I got it that time because I did it the way that he shows it. But like a lot of times when I'm like, I'm gonna get it real precise. I was trying to do like that spider guard hook grip. Right? Versus. Right? Think about that on chokes. I will pass this one. I don't always do that anymore, to be perfectly honest. I've done it thousands of times. I used to do 100 each side. But you can just do it all day. No. Right? So that's, I got finesse from just like overtime, just boom. First I was just drilling just like we are today. And then it became, okay, I know how to do this. I'm proficient at it. I'm gonna get my reps. Right? So double the bell chokes. It's like the cross choke from the back. Okay? So get down, I'm gonna grab around your chest. Now, which side do you want to go to?
Going that side probably?
This side, okay. When we go this side, remember to swing your head out this side. It's going to be this arm that puts the sort of pressure on me as you're looping out, right? So go ahead, loop out. Good. Right? See, yes, that. Good, okay? Now, turn that way. Boom. And find it. Good. Way to take your time. Heavy on my scapulas. Good. Go ahead. Go ahead. Square out. Beautiful. Very nice. And your sit there almost tipped me over both times, right? I did on my knees the second time, just so I wanted you to feel it was less weight, right? So, but it's doable. That's why you gotta pop your head out. Like they say now, I was doing those things you were talking about. Bro, I'm heavy on your scapula. I just sprawled. You got all my weight there right now. If you can pop your head out to the side, you're literally squeezing out, right? So that's kind of just some little nuance with that. That's why we pop our head out. When you pop out, there's a moment when you actualize this, when you opened your chest and you did that, and I was just saying that arm's gonna be what, and I'm like, boom, right? And then one fluid move. Try not to tip over. Just get down on your knees, right? But grab my chest. Just less power, if that makes sense. Just get the mechanics. Poke your head out. And sit through. And then turn that way. Try not to pause here like this. Because what if I did that? Alright? So that's kind of, let's fix that part real quick, right? So, look, just here. Boom. And then look, I like how you got that, but move. Move out of the way. Right? And there's a way I can do that and that not be that big of a liability. But when my grip breaks, you good. Turn over at that instant. You're gonna feel. I was like, hey bro, I felt that. Right? You're gonna feel when I let go. When you've done your job. So remember, we'll go to 0 to 10. And we don't have to go to 10. We probably only always have to go to like 4 or 5. Max. And then like several times we revving up to 7 to 10 all the time. Right? Whoa, I was 7 on that one, right? Power is what we're like. Our power 0 to 10 gauge. I want to go 0 to 1 to 2, 3. Boop, that's all I needed. Less tired because I didn't go to 7, right? So get down. I'm gonna grab your chest. As soon as you feel that you're out, take the back and go for the choke. Go. That is. Yeah. Turn it over. Good. Right. Yeah. There you go. That's good. Okay. So that's just, sit through It's an interesting move. People will also call it, because of the head thing, a peek out or a sit out, right? Because you're getting out from underneath it. There are other sit through switches and different things. Like, we don't do all of them in this class. But we do see some ideas with, like, all right, they're beside you, they're in front of you, they're behind you. We need to be able to deal with all that, right? Any questions?
Good.
Cool. That's class 33. We'll be doing class 34 next, and continuing on some of these themes. So look for that in the uploads, and we have all these in a playlist. And mentioned this is, as we film and create these resources, kind of go back through, and we'll put the individual techniques in the playlist with the class, right? As we have a lot of video content, and can pull another video we had filmed, or we'll just parts of the actual class where it's like, I remember the whole class, except for that one thing. At least doing the chest grab part, I forgot that one. He made a single video of that. Boom. That's exactly why we did that. The class might be 40 minutes, 50, something like that, right? So we want you to be able to just go back and review the piece you might need the most, right? So look at the playlist for that, and you'll see, as we go through, we've gone through and added a lot. All right. Thank you guys.